says or not?
Not quite yet. I don't think we have.
Okay. Okay, because I don't have 6:30 yet, so that's good then. If we won't start early then.
Hey, Melissa, it's Chip. Can you hear me okay?
I can, yes.
Hey, I'm restarting my computer at home so I can, for whatever reason,
I want to go for like actually on time by what mine says or not.
Sorry, hang on a second. Not quite.
It's okay.
There we go.
I was just saying I'm restarting my computer. I'll try to log in again. I just tried the old IT tip of starting over, unplugging and starting over my computer. So I'm definitely on with the telephone. But,
okay.
I'll be on the video here shortly.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. Pretty day.
Do you need something? Okay.
It looks like we have everyone now, April.
Okay. Oh, perfect timing. All right. I will want to welcome everyone to our Board of Trustees meeting today on August 17th. I'll call the meeting to order. It is now 6:30 by my time. Do we have anything to add to our agenda?
No.
Okay. I just need an approval of the minutes of the July 20th board meeting. Are there any corrections needed for our minutes?
I have a question about the minutes. If it's different than what I submit, do I need to change it and then resubmit it or anything? It's added that like I didn't put in or something. Do I need to resubmit them or anything?
No, Kelly.
Okay.
Okay. If we don't have any corrections, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right. The minutes will be approved as written. Let's move into our treasurer's report, please.
All right. We had a starting balance of $1,515,999. Our income for the month of July was $15,754. Our expenses for July were $66,706. That did include almost $10,000 for our building insurance. And that left us with an ending balance on June 30th of $1,465,047.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the July check register and the financial report?
I think, was that Mike?
Yeah, I'm motion. I said no.
Okay, I'm sorry. I did not hear
That's
that.
okay.
I apologize. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, let's move on to the librarian's report, please.
Okay. So for statistics, our circulation is still down. It was down about 50% in July. The good news is that's up 87% from June. We did have 4 virtual programs. The Dial a Story, that was a new one that we started in July, and we did have 20 people call in to have a story read to them. Still, our activity kits have been phenomenal. The staff have just done a great job with those. We gave out 400 children activity kits, 120 teens, and 50 adults. We did finish up our summer reading at the end of July, and participation again this year, it's been down significantly compared to previous years, just with everything going on. For our August programs, Fran did a virtual program about the Be Man of Morgan. And the Gumlick Springs and Resort. We finished up the page turners that ended on August 10th. And this month's activity kits, we're doing the do-it-yourself face masks. So we've actually just about run out of all of those, and we've ordered some more to make some more kits up for that. For collections, so right now, KDLA is having an unexpected staff shortage. So there's a delay on the rotating collections that we get for large print and audiobooks. Hopefully it's only going to go through most of August. We have finished shifting and rearranging all of the collections for our adult collections. And the next step in our plan for rearrangement is we're going to pull out the YA nonfiction from the adult nonfiction collection and just kind of make them their own little area so that they have a place to go to find books that are geared specifically towards teens. For maintenance, Better Than a Brick Locksmith repaired the lock on our front door. Cintas did the quarterly sprinkler inspection. Everything was fine with that. It's been a year for HVAC repairs. So DeBra Kemple, they replaced a leaking condenser on one of the units. We just had to have them come back to repair the unit for the staff area. So they fixed a leaking gasket on that. And then we're having high humidity in the meeting room again. So they've ordered parts to fix that. Spectrum upgraded our internet to 500 megabits per second. It was 200. For professional activities, I've attended again the North Region meetings and the CWC meeting, and Tanya's been attending the youth regional meetings. Aiden, one of our pages, he resigned on July 15th. So we'll accept resumes until the position's filled, but we're looking to do interviews this week. For E-rates, I received the funding commitment decision letter for the internet and bookmobile hotspots. Also a new battery backup and some cabling that we needed under category 2, and the SmartNet maintenance support plan. I did file form 486, which indicates when we're starting service and certifies that we are SIPA compliant. And I also filed the BEAR form to receive reimbursements from AT&T for last year. So that'll be a refund of $431.89. And that's all I have for my report.
Okay. Do we have anything for the regional report?
They do have some resources on there for reopening and recovery. and also a webinar on knowledge transfer and succession planning.
All right, let's move on to our old business. Do we have any updates on the sale of our Highway 27 property?
So we did receive an offer of $23,500 for the 5.5 acre parcel. I checked with April, and we decided to reply back to Cindy that we'd like to see something a little bit closer to what we were asking, and they weren't willing to offer anything higher. So this was a parcel that we were asking $30,000 for. We did also have another showing on Saturday, but I've not heard anything back on that yet.
Okay. All right, we'll move into our next portion. We have Chip Sutherland with Baird presenting on refinancing our bonds.
Hey, good afternoon. I think I'm going to be able to open up my. I'm just going to use my iPad to try to connect by Zoom. So momentarily, just bear with me, and I'll make do by telephone if that's okay.
Sure, that's fine.
Melissa, you want to go first? Or did you want me to dive in? What do you have a preference for?
If you want to go ahead and dive in, that would be great.
Okay. So Melissa, I believe you shared with the board the summary page that I sent that has what it kind of looks like right now. And if you all have that handy, I'll kind of walk through that and review it with you.
Yes, sounds good.
Okay. All right. So it's just the 2011 issue again, and this is what we've been talking about for a long time. And it's the interest rate market is, just to kind of pick up where we had left off a while ago. We were set to move forward with this refinancing, and then there was a market meltdown, or I shouldn't call it a meltdown. It was more of a market freezing that occurred right around COVID, and just after it kind of the outbreak really began in mid-March, and the taxable bond market just completely seized, and it was a slow thaw. And then mid-July of this year, it started to come back. The taxable bond market started coming back, and so where we are now is it's in a position where, the previous decision by the board was, we understand we can save more money if we wait and interest rates don't change, but not knowing what rates will look like in the future, and knowing, or at least having an idea what we hope they'll be right now, we can get some savings now that look acceptable and handsome. So let's go ahead and take advantage of them now. And so that's what this first page does. It summarizes for you all kind of what the savings looks like as of today. And this is based on today's interest rate environment. And as you all know, this stuff changes until you actually sell bonds. So the left-hand side is just a summary of what we're looking at. There's a little over $2 million that we want to refinance that currently have interest rates anywhere from 2 3/4% to 4 3/8. And the key on this whole thing is those bonds, the 2011 bonds, are prepayable on December the 1st of 2021 at no penalty. And so the options that the board has is to issue taxable bonds right now in advance of that call date, and that's why we call it an advance refunding. And if we did that, we could do it at low interest rates, because the overall rates are so low that despite issuing bonds now and kind of having them sit there until December of 2021 and not being used, we can still get some savings. And it's about $15,000 to $20,000 per year is what you see there. And so the interest rate, if we were to do the deal today, it would be about 2.13%. If you wait and rates don't, and the interest rate environment doesn't change, and instead of issuing bonds today and letting it sit there for a year, a little over a year, and doing nothing, we wait a year and then issue the bonds, and the proceeds of those bonds get used immediately, you'll see the savings is much greater. And the other added benefit of it is we can also do it, the tax law will allow us to do that one as a tax exempt bond issue, whereas this one only allows us to do as a taxable bond issue. So if I go to the second page, that this is the age-old question. Well, if I knew what interest rates were going to do, I would make a better decision, but we don't. And so, do we go ahead and lock in rates where they are now? And that way we don't risk, if rates rise on us, that we didn't get a chance to refinance our bond issue. And as you all know, the rates do shoot up and down. And so we use this. So we work with all the public universities in Kentucky. We work with Northern and UK U of L, Moorhead, Murray, all of them. And this is some sensitivity analysis that we use to help them make sense whether or not they want to move forward with it. And it's basically a three-part test, and then some sensitivity to interest rates that we'll look at that I'll explain here shortly. So it passes all three of the tests, and without really diving into the details of them, I'm happy to, but just without diving into the details, I'll explain it this way. So if we refinanced it today and got the taxable rates we think we can get, the net present value savings, net of all costs, is about $312,000. You see that in the second, on the top box, on the second from the left. And as I mentioned, we're going to refinance about $2 million, a little over $2 million worth of bonds. So the savings as a percentage of what we're funding is 15.65%, and that's a key percentage, a key measurement. And so is that negative arbitrage of $43,000. And so what negative arbitrage means is if rates didn't change and we were able to wait, let me start over. If we sold bonds today at these taxable rates, even though they're low, there's still going to be about $43,000 of just interest that the library is going to pay that doesn't really have doesn't have any benefit because it's going to sit there for a year. Remember, they're not callable until December of 2021. And so there's negative arbitrage of $43,000. So we measure all that in these three tests, and it meets them. The first one is that we want savings to be at least 2 times as much negative arbitrage, because negative arbitrage is bad and savings is good. And we have that. We passed that exam. The middle one is kind of measures, how much, how sensitive, if rates fall, how much more savings can we get? And what this basically says is that, even if interest rates go lower, you don't pick up that much more in savings. That's what the middle one kind of says. And the third one is really just a kind of a line in the sand. In general, just for your all's reference, most refinancings, advance refundings, are elected to go forward with them if you have over 5% savings. So kind of bringing that back, it's, if I told you on the first page, today, if we did it, you can get a rate of around a little over 2%, and you'll save, let's call it $17,000 per year. But if rates don't change, it's going to be, $28,000 per year. If we all had a crystal ball and knew the rates wouldn't change, we'd obviously wait. And if you say, well, okay, if interest rates rise, how much can they go up before, if I wait and I decide not to do it now, how much room do I have for rates to rise and I still get at least $17,000 a year savings in the future? And that's basically a little less than 1%, at 65 basis points. That's the sensitivity. And I kind of come back to the recommendation, and I'm just kind of reiterating all this because it's been a little while since we talked about it, but it's important for the board to say, you know what, we like this savings number at 17,000. Yeah, we know it can get better if we wait, but we don't know what interest rates are going to do. It passes the sensitivity test, so let's go forward with it. Now you have the information to say that if you want. Also, you have enough information and justification to say, you know what, we really are getting by okay. That savings per year, if it never occurs, it won't hurt us. But if rates don't change that much, we're going to save a lot more money. Well, you have a good, compelling argument for waiting. And so that's kind of where we'll look to the board and ask you all, what, do you still feel compelled to move forward with the refinancing or not? You don't have to. I've just laid out some good reasons why you might get paid to wait. But the risk, of course, is that interest rates will change. So that's a summary of the presentation. What you can do is move pretty quickly. The bond attorneys can have their legal documents drafted where you all can authorize them in a special called meeting, if you like, here in next week. And you can have, we can try to lock in our interest rates within 3 weeks or so, if that's what you all would like to do. And I guess the next logical question is, well, what do you think interest rates are going to do, Chip? I'm going to say, we have a lot of clients that are going through the same thought process that you guys are going through. Scott County Schools, they have a similar issue, and they're going to wait. Like the City of Lexington, they have issues like this, and they're going to go forward with it. So it really is unique to what you all think is important to you all in terms of the nominal amount of savings. I support either one. But if you want to go, we can make it happen really quick because we have the attorneys teed up and we're ready to go. Yep.
I'm making a motion to use Chip and to wait. We're not hurting right now. It's not like it's a situation. I feel like, yeah, that's definitely going to be something that moving forward, that if we wait, it's going to actually benefit us if the rates don't change. But we can't see the rates changing or not, but I don't see them shooting skyrocket rates going up.
Do we have any other thoughts or comments?
I'll add real quick just to that, but I know you're in the middle of a motion and looking for a second, and just to put an addendum to that thought. The risk obviously is that interest rates go up, and we don't have the ability to refinance at lower interest rates, but you will have.
Sorry, Chip, I think we kind of lost you there. Chip?
My recommendation is, I just want to help you guys think through what's best for you all. If you all want to wait, I'm happy to wait, and we'll keep you apprised. If you want to go forward with it, my team's ready to roll and get you guys going. So that I'll just pause right there. I need to hit join video. I'm sorry.
So other thoughts? Does someone want to second Mike's motion or make a different motion?
Do we need to discuss the issue of the other company? I mean, before we make any specific decisions just yet?
I mean, that's definitely the first decision that needs to be made is which company to go with. And I believe you all got the email with all of the responses that I received from the libraries for references for both. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you'll have on that.
I read all that, Melissa, and I read that your recommendation is for Chip, and also I said seeing where Chip actually came down for us to help us out in the long run, and that other people are satisfied with him. My worry was going with Compass is the fact that they change representatives a lot. So like even if we say let's go with a local person, they retire in a year, we're dealing with another representative, and then if they leave, then you're dealing with another representative, and you don't know who you're going to deal with at that point. According to everything I read that you sent us from other libraries, they had different representatives, and everyone seems to be happy with Chip, and that's why I say stay on board with him and wait, go ahead and wait it out, because we're not hurting. It's not like, oh, we need the money right now. It's like, oh, we're what's going on. It's not, we're not in a position. So that's kind of like where my motion comes from at that point, of staying with Chip and waiting out until December 2021.
I mean, I'm dollars and cents. Whatever's gonna, my opinion is whatever's gonna be best for us financially.
Well, let me ask this. Is everyone in agreement to stay with Chip? Let's do that first.
I motion to stay with Chip.
My question is the breakdown on savings. So I just want to make sure I've got my information correct. So the fee that was going to be cheaper with Compass, Chip, you've agreed to lower your fee to match that, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I read the email I got this afternoon correctly. I think the question that was brought up by the other company, and I'm seeking clarification, trying to learn a little bit more about this process, was that they, and I may misspeak some of this is, a little outside my wheelhouse. When they shop those bonds to people, that your company potentially buys them. Am I saying that correctly? Do you know what somebody
Yes,
know what I'm
ma'am.
trying to say?
Yeah, I'll help you here. I know what you're asking. I'm going to guess that the pitch was, hey, we're independent municipal advisors, and when you hire us, all the firms will bid, whereas when you hire Baird, they are a broker-dealer, and they will not be allowed to bid on bonds for which they're a municipal advisor. So you're taking a bid out of the pool, and the thought being when you take a bid out of the pool, you're hurting yourself in terms of getting bids. And the answer to that is twofold. One, the way the market works, yes, an underwriter puts the bid in for the bonds, but they're putting those bids in for investors. And so Vince Harrison at Dupree has accounts with Baird, Ross Sinclair, Stifel Nicholas, Raymond James, Hutch Shockey, you name it, all the typical underwriters that bid on this stuff. Vince has an account with each one of them. And so if he wants Pendleton County Library bonds and Baird is the municipal advisor, he's going to put his order in with one of those firms that can bid on it. So by hiring my firm as your municipal advisor, you're not losing investors. Yes, you won't have Baird submitting a bid for your bonds, but you're not going to lose the investors. You know, we work with, you know, this year alone, we'll probably have, I'm going to say 80 deals that we're the municipal advisor. They choose us because we do get the best bids. And the way we do that is we contact the underwriters and we do all the right steps to make sure they have the information they need to put in good bids and make sure that the Vince Harrisons of the world, the Dupree, get notice that, you know, Pendleton County Library is selling bonds. So it's a common pitch, if you will, but usually the reason it wins out is the municipal advisory firm that's going to best help us get the best bids is Baird, because of their outreach to the investment community and also the way they set up our deals. The way we dress your offering up, if you will, is what gets you the best bids, and that's what we're good at.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mhm.
That's exactly what I was trying to ask.
You're welcome.
Which chip, if we encompass, the bid holders can pull out their bids anytime, right? They're not fixed to keep their bids and invest. Always they can actually pull their bid out to invest somewhere else. With you guys, you got the same bidders every time. You contact the same bidders and we come through you instead of having bidders pull in and out all the time. That's a chance we'll take with the other company is the bidders will invest or not invest, and we could lose investments later on.
To be direct about it, you know, nobody's guaranteed bids. Our firm has not put out an issue where we failed to attract a bid, and that's not to say it won't happen, but that has happened in the industry. And Compass has put out bond issues for sale and not gotten bids. So it's a market where you need to hire a firm that's going to do the good job of marketing your offering and making sure that the investment community is ready to submit bids for your bonds. And that's what I'm telling you, is that my firm is good at it, and we're going to make sure that Pendleton County Library gets robust investor interest in your all's deals.
And we've been with them since 2006. Is that the number we go back to for Bard?
I think so. Yeah,
that's a long time, and
yeah.
you've done a good job that long time, and we never had any issues, no problems. Don't see why the idea of this all of a sudden we should change, because I feel like we should just stick with, like, if Melissa likes working with you, everything works out together, and we haven't any problems since 2006. So I don't see why you should, just because of a few $1,000s, dump somebody out. You know, customer service is more important than a few $1,000s to me.
Well, you know, I mean, I've said this over and over about a lot of issues. To me, it comes down to money, because, you know, we're talking about, you know, money that we're not, right now things are so volatile in general. You know, we don't know where our financing is going to be or anything in the future. But it sounds like, as far as what we can get from investors, it's, you know, on par with either company. A lot of what we're talking about is customer service. Of course, the actual fee for you was one of the issues. You know, and if you've decided to cut that fee to make it comparable to them, then, I mean, are we really just talking about customer service? Because as far as savings, it's all going to just depend on how the sale of the bonds go, correct? And that's nothing guaranteed exactly anyway. It's all sort of just waiting to see what it looks like when the time comes.
Well, I'll just say, just to be very candid, taking our firm's fee and matching other firms just frankly made it easier for you all just to compare then on customer service. That's why I did that. And I mean, there's there's value. We are a premium company. There's a reason why people pay what they pay when they hire us to do the work we do. We do make a difference in the underwriting and the bids that you're going to get on your transaction. That's without question. But it just frankly, as I told Melissa, I love libraries. I've been doing this 18 years, starting out as a grunt analyst and now being a banker, and I cut my teeth on libraries, and I love them, and I won't make it easy on them. And frankly, that was the easiest way for us to cut through it all. And instead of me trying to spend however long it would take to articulate the nuances of my trade, I just thought it'd be easier to say, hey, you know what? If that's what it takes, I'm willing to do it, because Pendleton County means that much to me. I've been with you guys a long time, and I want to move forward and help you guys get the best deal, whether it's to do it now, and if that's what the board decides to do, or if it's to wait. And anyway, that's what I'm here for, and that's why I did it that way. But I will say, yeah, there's a difference besides customer service. There's art to what we do, but just put that aside for now and just say customer service.
I also think we should stay with Baird too. But what is the actual difference in the savings between the two? It's not that much, is it?
No, I don't know for sure, but what we both represent to you is what we think the market is doing. That Pike County, for example, this is how, at least I can tell you how we do it. And I'm going to say it's the same for any other company that does this. Pike County just sold bonds for taxable bonds for a transaction. It's not as long as yours. It doesn't go out as far as 2042. It was much shorter. It's a 12-year deal, but they sold taxable bonds. So that's a Kentucky issue that has somewhat of a similar rating as Pendleton County Library would. And it was bought by an underwriter. It's a bona fide bid. And so we can take those interest rate assumptions and apply it to yours, and then run the numbers and see what that produces in terms of savings. So they're generally going to be right within each other. But if mine shows more savings than theirs, it really doesn't mean anything to you all. It just means that perhaps I had a little bit more aggressive rates than they did, or maybe I got my rates at a different time of the week than they did. It really, the fact that they're similar is all you probably would need to know, that both firms are putting forth reasonable expectations of what you might get. That's probably what you can take away from it. The hard costs, it kind of gets back to that fee quote of what I said that I would reduce mine to. That's pretty identifiable. I'd obviously argue, well, I would make up any difference in fee and getting better bids, but that's kind of off the table because I just agreed to bring my fee in line with what the other firm was doing, just to make it easier. But yes, both. Yes, I'm sorry. I'll pause.
Okay, Chip. Now, since you've been doing this for a long time, what is your recommendation? Do you think it'd be better for us to wait, or do you think it'd be better for us to do it right now?
Oh man. That's a good question. I mean, so I'll start with the last page. 65 basis points is not that much movement. That's not a lot of headroom, but it's only a year. I think that my recommendation would be to go ahead and get the board to approve it. Let us kind of move forward for the next, it's going to take several weeks to get the rating agency lined up and stuff like that. And then you can make a final decision later if you really, really want to do it. But that gives us several more, 2 or 3 more weeks of time. Because one of the things that might change this is, Congress isn't supposed to be coming out with a second round of HEALS Act funding, or, the second care package, if you will. And it's been kicked around that they would allow issuers like Pendleton County Library to use tax-exempt debt to do these advance refundings. And if that's the case, the rates and savings will be even better, even if we do it now. So there's compelling reason to kind of pause, at least for a very short period of time. But, I have a hard time telling you $18,000 or $17,000 a year isn't meaningful. I think you'll get an aggressive bid, and I think that's an attractive number. It passes all the sensitivity tests. If you put me on the spot and said, would you do it or not? If we got mad at you that interest rates went away, 6 months from now, then if you said that, then I'd say, well, go ahead and do it now, because it green lights all the sensitivity tests. But if you said, hey, you know what, we'll be okay if we don't ever refinance this, and we have the option to pay it down with cash later, I'm okay with, if you all say you're okay with that, then I would recommend waiting, because you got you got something you can pick up by waiting a little bit. I kind of maybe put that question back on you. How upset would you be if interest rates moved up on you and you didn't get any refinancing savings?
Well, the only reason I said that is because every 4 years the market fluctuates when there's a presidential election, and God knows what's going to happen this year. You know what I mean?
Right. I do.
And I don't have a problem waiting a little bit, but I don't know if we should wait a year. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I agree. I mean, you mentioned the election. Generally what happens is, so it's August right now. Generally, unless there's something crazy that happens out there, what they call the black swan events, generally what's going to happen is between now and election time, rates tend to stay range bound. They don't change that much, typically. And then after the election, either depending in what markets like, they don't maybe necessarily care who wins as much as they don't like change. So if there's no change, then rates are likely to kind of stay where they are, and there you have it. And if there is change, then rates might bounce around a bit. But just if you told me, we'll pick a position, Chip, on what interest rates are going to do, and this is complete speculation. I don't know anything anybody else doesn't, but I think we'll see some little ups and downs in interest rates between now and the end of the year. But every time you wait, your refinancing gets a little bit better if rates don't change that much. So I don't see rates going up too much, if at all, throughout the rest of the year. So that's my thought is, get the approvals done, the regulatory, you guys even can organize pretty quickly to do the meetings, but get those out of the way and get it teed up, and then you're ready to pop as soon as it gets something, if rates look really, really good.
You say that awfully
Yeah, well, that's
optimistic,
what
like
you
2020 is
say.
not going to have anything happen.
Say it again.
Stacy and Dave, I think you both started talking at the same time. If one of you wants to repeat what was said.
I just said, Melissa, whatever you think. You've been dealing since, with Bear and Chip for a good while, and we all feel confident about him. Do you think we should? I personally think we should wait a little bit, but I don't think we should wait like a year or something like that. I think maybe by the end of the year we should be making a decision of, go in or whatever, I mean,
Right.
you've been doing this longer than I have, so you kind of say what you think should be done.
I mean, I can see if we went ahead and refinanced, that right there more than makes up for our loss in state aid. So there's that part. If we knew for sure that interest rates weren't going to uh change, by next year, then I think it would be obvious, yes, definitely wait. Unfortunately, nobody can know that. Um, I think our financial position is good. Um, so I mean, really, it comes back to I guess, do we want to take a chance if we refinance? I'm looking at the refunding analysis. So just to use these figures, if we refinance now and we saved our county $385,000, are we willing to throw that away in the event that interest rates raise to where we couldn't get the 551,000 in a year? I mean, we're talking about a difference of, let's see, what here, like
170.
170, yeah, $170,000 difference. So is that worth waiting?
I'm not a gambler. I mean, I'm just, I'm like, the sure bet right now is safe. And that's what I was saying when I accidentally interrupted Dave, is that's awfully optimistic to think like the rest of the year probably will be okay. Like, at this point, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, 385,000 versus, and another 170,000, obviously in the grand scheme of things sounds huge. But also, that's also $385,000. And, I'm sure
Could go the other way too.
that's.
So I have a question for you, Chip. If we refinance now, is that it? Is that the end all? That's it until we
The
get
last-
paid off.
No, so if we did new bonds to pay off these old bonds, if we did new bonds today to pay off those old bonds, Melissa, you would have what we call a new call period. We would put in, bond investors, they're willing to give you long-term fixed rate, a long-term fixed rate deal, but they want call protection. So, back in 2011, the market used to say we need 10 years of call protection. That's where that 10-year December 1, 2021 call came from. Now, in the current market environment, that we can get away with 7 years and not pay an interest rate to get that. So if we did a new deal today and locked in the rates today, it would be 7 years before you get to do it again, likely. So that's, in the scheme of things, that's frankly kind of short. And that's, actually you bring up a good point. That's a compelling reason to do it now. But the good news for you all, I don't need your decision tonight to do it. My recommendation was to, I can get the paperwork with the attorneys started and you all can kind of consider it. And then, if you want to have it, look at it next week and see where it is, or 2 weeks from now when you want to reorganize a special call meeting, we can do it then, or we can wait until the next board meeting. I just looking for your all's confidence to work with you all to kind of see this through with you. So, but I think you guys are having the right conversation.
Are we all on board with using Barrett and Chip? I mean, is that we good with that, members? I mean, is that a go?
Yeah, I think we're all
We
on
need to
board
put
with
that to a
using
vote.
CHIP.
I think we should put that into a motion, yes.
Okay, so let's go back and do we have a motion to stay with Chip Sutherland and Baird?
I'm motion.
Okay,
I
do we have a
second
second?
it.
Thank you.
And I motion to table it till next month. Let Chip get the numbers together. Then he can give us a precise number, and then we can go from there if that's okay with everybody else. Just to keep moving.
Unless Chip recommends that we do it sooner than that, like with a special meeting. I don't know. What do you recommend, Chip? Would it be all right waiting for a month?
It's fine to wait. I mean, I'll have the attorneys draw up the papers is such that you all can consider it your next board meeting, and we'll move things along just enough so that if at that meeting 4 weeks from now you want to go because you like where it is, then you can go. If the market moves from us, it moves from us. Nobody expects that, but that is a distinct possibility. But I think that's a good plan.
Okay, in that case, I'll second Mike's motion to wait till next month when we get all the numbers and all the paperwork.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, then we have a motion to stay with Chip and we will table this until the next meeting. All right, I'd like to thank Chip for coming and providing all the information. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your all's confidence, and I really look forward to working with you guys, and I'll keep Melissa informed on what's happening with the interest rates, and also as we move along with getting the attorney set up and everything kind of lined up. And so I look forward to talking with you guys soon, and thanks for bearing with me for the late join on the Zoom, but I'm glad we got to talk.
Thanks, Chip.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we'll continue with the new business portion. Do we have a budget amendment?
I have several.
Okay,
So we've got first, both on the income and expense side, we did get the $5,000 federal CARES Act grant through the Kentucky Humanities. So that's coming through on this year's budget. So that's $5,000. And then because we have to keep all of those expenses separate from other expenses, it would be adding a line item on the expense side. So I've got that on the third page there, just under miscellaneous. The second part would be amending what the cash balance was on July 1st. So of course, what I propose and the original budget proposal is an estimate. This brings it to the actual amount that we had on July 1st. And then the third thing is I would ask to add $5,000 to the building repair line item of maintenance and repairs. So this fourth sheet kind of shows why I'm asking for that. So what I do with every single line item is I break that down by what I expect us to have to pay for whatever entity, whether it's plumbing repairs or light repairs, any of that. So you never know how many things are going to break down. And like I said, HVAC is not being nice to us this year. We've had them in, let's see, I think 4 times at this point to do repairs. I don't know how much this last set of repairs is going to cost us, but typically it's between sorry, and typically it's between $1,000 and $2,000. so if you estimate approximately $1,800 for this last set of repairs, that puts us about $5,000 over on the Brock Kemple repairs. Now what we can do is we can postpone resealing our parking lot until next year, and I can just use that money to pay to Brock Kemple. But that's not my recommendation.
No.
I think we need to keep with, our regular maintenance like we have planned, because if we keep with our regular maintenance, in the long run, it's going to be better for us.
Yes, I agree completely.
So yeah, so that's why I
It's
would.
a slippery slope if we put, yeah.
And the good news is, because our cash balance on July 1st was higher than what I had estimated. We don't have to amend anything on the income side. We're not having to necessarily pull more money from reserves or amend any of our reserves. It would just be adding that $5,000 to the expense side, and making up for it with that cash balance.
I think that sounds perfect. I don't think we want to put off any of our regular maintenance to cover these unusual things. I think it's best just to stay on our regular maintenance schedule either way.
Okay, do we have a motion to amend the budget as proposed?
I make a motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, now we will move on to our hours.
So what I've got here is just kind of to give you all an idea of where we're standing with our hours. So we are currently doing the reduced hours, Monday through Thursday, 11 to 7, Friday and Saturday, 9 to 5, and closed on Sunday. I also have what, our normal hours are there. I'm kind of thinking that the best way to determine if we need to amend our hours or increase our hours is maybe putting out a survey to our community, to see if they're able to do what they need to do during our current hours, or if there might be better hours that we can offer. I'm just kind of looking at, so like on the back side of the page, I do have, this is from SenseWorks. So this is our door counter. So this counts how many people are coming into the library. And so what this is both graphs are July 1st through August 13th. The top one is last year. The bottom one is this year. So you can kind of tell from the top one, on the high end, so the really dark colors, that's 21 people coming into the library during that hour. Whether or not we ever reach capacity is not going to be a good determining factor of whether or not we need to increase our hours, because we're not going to reach our capacity. So looking at this year, you have Monday through Thursday, really dark colors at that first hour. That might be an indication that we need to open a little bit earlier on those days. At the same time, I wonder, do we need to add Sundays back in just as another day for people to come in on the weekends? So I'm depending upon what you all think, if you want to go ahead and change hours or not. I'm thinking that the best thing may be just to push a survey out to our community and see what they think, what feedback we get from them.
I think that's a reasonable way to kind of get feedback. My biggest concern is, of course, kids in school, starting, virtual school next week. I have terrible internet. I'm using my phone as a hotspot right now. to use my laptop for this. And that's how we're going to be doing school. So I am concerned, about even though we're at reduced capacity, even if it's just people being able to come and use the building to, sit in a corner and do some schoolwork. Now, I don't know if that means we might need to change those hours to an earlier start time, even if we kept the same amount of hours, or just a couple days a week start earlier. I really think it's hard to guess now. I do agree that if we're seeing a big group of people right when we open, then maybe that's an indicator that our open time is a little too late. I'm still not sure that means we need more hours, maybe just adjusted hours. I really don't have a clue about Sunday. I really don't. I think the survey is a great idea. Obviously, are we trying to get the hot spots did we talk about this? Setting up hot spots in the county? I may have made that up. I know a different library's doing it, so I don't know if I'm crazy. I discussed it with someone else, so I wasn't sure if we discussed it or not.
We do have
Like at churches and stuff through the county.
Right. Well, we do have the hotspot on the bookmobile. So at every single bookmobile spot that she goes to, people can drive up to the bookmobile to be able to access internet. I'm also working with LibSynergy to see if we can get our wireless internet to actually reach our entire parking lot.
I was there in the parking lot the other day trying to use it in the middle of the night and couldn't get it to work.
It's
like 11:30 at night on a Monday.
It kind of depends on the device too. Some people can access it from the front row of the parking lot, and some can't. So hopefully we'll be able to expand that to the entire parking lot, which may.
Right. I had heard, I don't even want to say for sure which library it was. I thought it was a Northern Kentucky one. Kenton or Campbell probably. That was their library purchased hotspots and was setting them up at different areas in the community, like churches and stuff where people could come and maybe just sit in the parking lot throughout the county to use for school stuff. I have no idea if that's feasible for us, or even if we could get our hands on a hotspot right now if we wanted to be honest. But I do think, school starting and it's going to be, I think we'll have people trying to depend on us again. I really just don't even have a guess on what hours are going to be most beneficial for the community. So I think the survey is a great idea.
Unless anybody else has anything to add about that, then I'll just plan to go ahead and put out a survey and we'll go from there.
Okay.
That sounds good.
I agree. All right, we'll move forward with our tax rates, please.
All right. So really, in my opinion, the two options that you're really wanting to look at is keeping our rates exactly the same, which would mean likely a drop in revenue, or going with the compensating rate, which is meant to ensure that we bring in what we brought in last year. Even with looking at the figures here, I do the average of how much they predict that we would get, the calculations, and how much we actually got each year. And you can see, across the top, fiscal year 1920 was significantly higher than the previous years. I did still use the average of the 4 years to kind of determine down here the negative amount. So the totals here for the calculations of what we would get may end up actually being lower. It really depends. There's no way for me to be able to predict that. Do you all have any questions that I can help to answer on this, or do you
What's
want-
your opinion?
My opinion is twofold. If you're looking at what is financially best for the library, I would recommend that we go with the compensating rate. The flip side of that is I know there are a whole lot of people struggling at this point in time. So do we want to raise rates at all? Because the compensating rate, basically it works out to for real property. So if you have a person who owns a house that's $100,000, their tax bill would increase by $9 if we took the compensating rate. To me personally, on my personal property, I have no qualms about paying that, but I'm a little bit biased.
Right.
I wouldn't hesitate to pay an extra $9 to support the library.
Yeah. And that's really how I personally feel. I do, on the other hand, I think it's a goodwill measure if we don't. Does that make sense? Like at a time like this where things are kind of difficult and very volatile as far as taxes and everything, is it worth bad publicity to get $9 from everybody that has 100,000? That's where I'm at. It's financially, that amount's really not going to make or break us. That amount is not enough to, as a whole. My phone just went to sleep. As a whole, what is that a year for us if we took compensating versus kept it the same?
So the difference is if we kept the current rate for both real and personal, we would be looking at $885,000. If we went compensating, we'd be looking at $938,000. So you're talking about
50,000.
Yeah, right.
I hate to say this because I am such a dollar and cents person, but right now, when things are very difficult, I'm actually fine keeping it the same and not taking the compensating rate. That amount of money is not going to make or break the library, but people are struggling right now, and I think it's a very good gesture right now to be able to say that we didn't do that.
We can
I'm
compensate.
just one opinion.
We can compensate next year, right? If we don't compensate this year, we're able to compensate next year, taxes, and gain that back. So, and second of all, if we were running full speed, we ran normal hours all day, I could say, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and compensate taxes, right? We're running full speed. The library's open for you, normal hours. But right now we're gonna say, we want to take more tax money from you, but we're not running normal hours, which is, it's not our fault, it's COVID, right? But it looks like, just like you're saying, well, teachers aren't working. So, it's kind of like the idea of, hey, I'm going to pay the library money, but yet they're not open all day for me to come in and use this for my children. So it is kind of like off Stacy's play of like, you don't want to sound like we're asking you for more money, but we're still going to keep our library hours short and not be open, our full hours.
Agree 100%.
Right. And yes, next year we could take compensating. So how that would work is if we keep our current rates, and we bring in less with the current rates than what we brought in last year, compensating rate next year would ensure that we get the same amount that we got this year. So it would ensure that the following year we get less than what we got last year. Does that make, I know it's kind of complicated. Does that make sense?
I know what you mean.
But I'm fine, with not taking compensating because, both of you all make valid points. And like I said, do we really want to, it's $9, but do we want to pass that on to the people in our community?
Right, I agree.
I agree.
So that's my thing's just to stick with our current and not take the compensating. Do I need to make a motion for that?
Yes, please.
Okay, I make a motion that we keep our current rate and do not take the compensating rate.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, thank you. Okay.
And do let me, I'm going to read through the official motion and then you all can do your I part again.
I apologize.
I just, just to
Sorry.
make sure that everybody is completely aware of the full set of rates. It's a big, long paragraph.
Yes, please.
So it would be a motion to set the 2020-21 tax rate at the following rates. So the current rate of, 12.1 cents per $100 on real property, and the current rate of 19.66 cents per $100 on personal property, 3 cents on motor vehicles and watercraft, and 19.66 cents per $100 on optional taxes listed as inventory aircraft, documented watercraft, non-Kentucky registered watercraft, and in-transit inventory. So that's the full set of taxes that you all are approving.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that everybody's 100% aware of what they're voting for.
Yes, thank you.
And I will need, I'll type up the tax rate certification, and April and Shirley, I will need both of you all to come sign that, so that I can take it to the county clerk's office. But I'll let you know when I have that ready.
All right, thank you. Okay, we can move on to the disposal of our surplus materials.
Okay. And did you all get the form that I sent out this afternoon? Okay.
Yes, I did.
Okay, great. So basically, we just need to approve for surplus everything on this list. So this is computers that
Yes, I got it.
Okay, great. So computers that we've replaced, things that have just broken. So like one of our scanners, the phone system, laminator, shredder, and one of our DVD carousels and so on. So we just need to surplus this so that we can offer them to other libraries or recycle as it's listed here.
Okay, do we
I
have
make
a motion?
that we accept it as listed.
Okay.
Sorry, April.
No, that's all right. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
I knew it was
All
Dave's
right.
turn.
All right, unless that we have anything else that I've missed, Melissa,
Mm-mm.
if I missed anything, okay, then we can go ahead and schedule our next meeting for September 21st, 2020. It will be held virtually again, as we've been doing, at 6:30. Is that work for everyone? We don't have any complications after school starts or anything? Okay.
Works for me.
All right. All right, then I have that it is 7:44.
I'm sorry,
sorry.
before you adjourn, I'm sorry.
Yes. No, yes.
It's a goofy question. Is that Shirley on the Samsung?
Yes.
Okay, it didn't have a name. I just want to make sure for the next. I apologize for interrupting.
No, you're fine. Thank you. All right, so it's 7:45 my time. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Okay, and a second?
Yes, second, third.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right, I want to thank everyone for attending our meeting tonight.
Thank you.